everyone, and thank you for joining us on Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and today I have with me my co-host, the Frog. Say hello, Kermit. No. It's Sabina with laryngitis.
Not fun.
No. And I hope you feel better soon and it doesn't hurt as much as it sounds like it does.
It doesn't hurt anymore. My throat doesn't hurt at all, thank goodness.
Oh, that's great. Well, today we're very excited to welcome Daytime Emmy Award winner for Outstanding Young Actress in a Drama Series as Lois Cerullo on General Hospital, Rena Sofer. Welcome, Rena.
Hello. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I know the fans are excited to hear from you. I know it's been a while since you've been on GH, but you know us soap fans, we're very loyal, and we follow you no matter where you go.
You are, and I still get recognized probably for General Hospital every day, more often than I do anything else I've ever done.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, we all loved you as Lois on GH and her New York accent. Did you have to learn how to do that?
No, I'm from New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and I lived in New York. And I think that even though I was born in California but left immediately, I believe that I have New York City blood in my veins.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. It's where I want to spend the rest of my life. It's where I want to live when I retire. It's where I want to be. So I get it. I get that New York everything so much that it was so easy. And when I auditioned for the role, I remember sitting with the casting director, Mark Teschner. He's a friend of mine. I had done Loving in New York City.
Right.
He was the casting director. And he, when he called me and said, there's this part on General Hospital, he said, let me take you out to dinner and we'll talk about it. And he brought the sides with him. And he's like, let's just read it. And I was like, all right, this is supposed to be dinner, but all right. And we're sitting there and I go, okay. And I'm looking through the sides and I said, do you want me to do it with an accent? And he was like, could you do a New York accent? And I'm like, could I do a New York accent? Are you kidding me? So then we started that way, and that's kind of how it evolved.
Wow, that's amazing. And you had to work for your dinner.
He paid for it no matter what. I had to eventually work for it later. It wasn't a slam dunk, I'll tell you that much.
Well, what did you love the most about playing Lois?
For me, Lois was who I wanted to be when I grew up. She just had a perfection to her personality that I, Rena, didn't own. She knew who she was. She didn't care about any of her flaws. She celebrated every single one of them, and nothing made her feel insecure. She jumped into everything with all of her heart and all of her soul. And she never once stopped to think, should I do this? Is this right? What will people think of me? What will this look like? She literally just dove in, and it was really her morals that steered her towards everything she chose to do in her life. And because she believed in them so strongly, you couldn't help but respect her for her choices. That's what I loved the most about her.
It was so much fun watching that, have no fear, and everything always worked out. And it was such a beloved character, and wouldn't I do to see you back on there?
I would, I've never, ever closed the door to going back to General Hospital. I've always said Lois was one of my favorite roles that I've ever played, and I would never hesitate if they had asked me to go back to General Hospital. When they recast the time, I don't know how many years ago, but somebody else played Lois, they never asked me to come back. So all of a sudden somebody, a really good friend of mine who, writes for soap opera magazines, she called me, she goes, there's somebody playing Lois on General Hospital. I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. So,
wow. What a way to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like somebody else raising your child for a couple of years. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get this podcast over to the new writer and director over there.
Absolutely.
Now, do you have a favorite memory from any of the storylines you were involved in?
I have to say the number one memory I have is when Lois asked Ned to marry her on the Cyclone in Cody Island.
Yeah.
Because I had never ridden a roller coaster before.
Really?
Ever. And the producer and the director had explained to me, we're planning on putting the camera on the roller coaster and we're going to shoot the scene as you're going. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go on a roller coaster. And they're like, well, maybe we can, have you go on and we can stop the roller coaster up at the top or just as it goes over. And the people running it said, no. Once it goes up, once she crests that first hill, it doesn't stop until it stops. And I'm like, no, I won't. And they're like, well, what if we go on for you and show you that it's not so bad and it's not so scary? And so they went on it. They looked terrified. It was this rickety, it shook you around a lot.
Right.
And that wasn't even the point. I just don't like the drop feeling. And so they made Wally go on it over and over again with a body double and do his side of the scenes. And then they were trying to figure out how to do it with me, and they just said, please, Rena, we're begging you. It's going to be the greatest scene. Just do it. And so I said, all right, fine. I'm going to do it just once. And thank God I knew my lines well.
Yeah.
And I get on it. We go, everything you saw on that roller coaster ride was 100% real. Everything you see on my face, there was no acting involved. Because we started off and I'm totally terrified and I'm trying to get all my words out and I'm trying to do everything. And then by the end of it, it was so much fun that I was almost hyperventilating with the biggest smile on my face. And it was hilarious. And that was, and I haven't been able to find it on YouTube. I always put in YouTube, Lois rides the Cyclone General Hospital, and I can never find it. But because I wanted to show my kids because they've never seen me do it. So it's really fun.
I know a few people that are really good with looking up YouTube things, so maybe I'll give a shout out to them and they'll find it and I'll get it to you.
Absolutely. If they know what to put into YouTube, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure it's got to be on there somewhere. I mean, there's so many things on there. As a matter of fact, last night I went back and was watching some of Loving with you on there, and with Rocky and Curtis. I mean, they were such a sweet couple.
Really? There's Loving stuff on YouTube, huh?
Yes.
Wow. Crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah, there's just about everything on YouTube, so watch what you do.
I know. Oh, I know. Don't worry. I'm well aware to watch out.
Yeah. Now, have you been on a roller coaster since then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, I like roller coasters. They're fun now.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about the only thing I go on. It's funny. I'm afraid of heights, but I love roller coasters. It's been a few years since I've been on them, but I love them. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's just the energy that you get from the fear of being on it.
Exactly.
Now, when you were on Loving, do you have a favorite storyline from that one?
I remember I didn't, when I was on Loving, one of the problems was I was so young and I was more excited about being on a soap opera than the work of being on a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about soap operas that can be so heartbreaking is they sign you to a multi-year contract, which you think, oh, my God, that's great, and here I get to make, I know I'm going to make a certain amount of money every year, but if you don't have a good storyline, you're really going in for the, whatever your minimum time you're supposed to go in, and you can just be there to just go, hey, how's it going, or serve somebody coffee, or,
right.
be in a scene that really isn't about you. And really so much of Loving was that for me because, they, the first love triangle they had me with wasn't very good. And then the second one was Rick Tejas came on and he played my boyfriend, but he wasn't, I guess I don't really remember it too well, but I don't think he was a citizen. They were going to deport him and we ended up dancing the lambada because the movie The Lambada just came out. So, but I didn't have such a good story. It wasn't like Lois on General Hospital where,
right.
It was like a little over 2 years of perfect story, perfect build. It just was a circle, It started in one place and it just really circulated all the way to the end. And I just worked pretty consistently, not exhaustingly, but really just loved what I did and the story made sense and it moved in the right way, We weren't getting together, breaking up because you just had to keep the time going. So it was really good and it was believable, which I loved the most, was this woman was so innocent and naive that nobody would ever take her love for granted, that nobody would ever pretend to be somebody they weren't. With Loving, I never really got a great story. I was there for Trucker and I was there for Trisha, but I wasn't really my own story. So I don't really have anything that I remember that was outstanding at that time. Other than being married and having Tony Bennett at my wedding. That was
oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
That's
cool.
Wonderful. I love Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Well, what did you learn from playing on Loving that you took with you to General Hospital or any other roles that you've done since then?
Take it seriously. Take it seriously. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to be a star. You're there to do the best work you can do, and that will take you to where you need to be. But every day, you get an opportunity to do a script, to play a scene, to be an actor, and to make it as believable and as real for the audience to watch. And I think that's why Lois was such a success. I didn't see it as a joke. I took her very seriously. So that's what I really took from that.
And I think that's great advice for anybody starting out in acting and may, put their nose up in the air at a soap. I think they're one of the hardest working people in the industry as being on a soap. You have so much to learn in such little time.
You do. And also I have to say, with the way television is now, with reality stars being stars, with there being TV shows on Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel and MTV, Bravo, A&E, all these networks. I mean, I remember when actors wouldn't audition, big actors wouldn't audition for TV. Now they're all over TV. Big, TV actors wouldn't audition for cable TV. Well, there's nothing else but cable TV. I don't think that the stigma of being a soap actor exists anymore. I think that people see it as being an actor, Yeah.
Right. That's good to know because you do see a lot of crossovers now, so that's a good thing for everybody.
Exactly. One of my favorite